Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. Has this ever happened to you? Someone asks you a question in English. Maybe it's a friend, maybe your teacher, or maybe a stranger, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank. You freeze. You forget everything. You know the words. You know some grammar. You've watched English videos. You've done exercises. But in that moment, nothing comes out. Why does this happen? And why does it feel so scary? If you've ever felt this way, I want you to know you're not alone. This happens to many English learners. And no, it's not because your English is bad. It's not because you're not smart enough. It's because speaking, especially impromptu speaking without any time to prepare, is a skill. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it doesn't work. But the good news is, you can train it. Today, I want to help you speak English without fear, even when you have no time to prepare. We're going to learn how to speak English naturally, clearly, and confidently, even when you don't know what to say. And no, you don't need perfect grammar. You don't need big vocabulary. You just need the right method and small, simple daily practice. I'll show you why your brain stops in the middle of speaking, how to stop translating in your head, and how to build your fluency step by step, with fun and easy ways you can start using today. So if you've ever said, "I understand English, but I can't speak," this video is for you. Stay with me until the end. I promise. By the last chapter, you'll feel ready to speak English anytime, anywhere, and maybe even enjoy it. Let's get started. Thugin Chapter E. Why speaking without preparation is so hard, and why it's not your fault. Let's begin with a question. Have you ever been in a situation where someone looked at you and asked something like, "So, tell me about yourself"? Maybe it was a job interview or a class presentation, or maybe you were just meeting someone new. You hear the question. You understand it. You know what to say. But somehow your brain goes blank. You freeze. You look at the person. You smile nervously. And in your head, you are thinking, "Come on. Say something." That's a very common situation. I've seen it happen to hundreds of students over the years. Students who were smart. Students who studied hard. Students who could write great essays and pass grammar exams. But still, when it was time to speak, they just couldn't do it. So here's something important I want you to hear. It's not your fault. You're not bad at English. You're not lazy. You're not shy. The problem is not you. The problem is how we are taught to speak English. Let me explain. Most English learners are trained to prepare. You study grammar rules. You learn vocabulary lists. You write sentences in your notebook. You maybe even write speeches or dialogues and memorize them. But in real life, conversations don't give you time to prepare. People don't give you their questions in advance. They just talk. They ask. They expect answers. Now, that's why impromptu speaking or speaking without preparation is so difficult. It's like trying to swim in deep water when you've only practiced. In the bathtub. So why does your brain freeze? One big reason is fear of mistakes. Many learners feel they must speak perfectly. They don't want to sound wrong. They're afraid people will laugh at them or not understand them. And this fear creates pressure. And when your brain feels pressure, it shuts down your language center. No, this is not just a feeling. It's science. Your brain is trying to protect you from danger. But of course, the real danger isn't there. It's just a conversation. Still, your body feels stress, and that stress blocks your words. Another reason is what I call silent translation. You think in your first language. You prepare the sentence in your head. Then you try to translate it into English before you speak. But this takes time. And in real conversations, there's no time. So you get stuck in the middle of a sentence. You're trying to remember one word, and by the time you do, the conversation has already moved on. That's very frustrating. Here's something interesting. Native speakers, people who speak English from childhood, don't think in full sentences when they talk. They think in ideas. Then they speak those ideas using the words they know. Bersau addicerbal, the words don't have to be perfect. But the idea is clear. This is what fluent speakers do. They focus on the message, not the grammar. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone asks you, "What do you like to do in your free time?" You might panic. You might try to think, in my free time, I like, to, maybe, I don't know the word, but what if you just think idea first? Your idea is, I like watching movies. That's enough. Then you say, I like watching movies. If you forget the word watching, say I like, see movies. That's okay. The meaning is still clear. You didn't freeze. You didn't walk away. You spoke. That's the goal. Now let's go back to that moment. Someone asks, "Tell me about yourself." Many learners feel that this is a test. So they try to remember a long, perfect answer. But that's not necessary. Try a simple mindset shift. Instead of thinking, I have to answer perfectly, tell yourself, I will share one small thing about myself. Just one thing. That's enough. For example, my name is Arjun. I live in Mumbai. I like reading books. That's a great answer. You didn't freeze. You didn't panic. You spoke with confidence. So, how do we train this ability? The first step is to stop worrying about perfection. Perfection is the enemy of fluency. Instead, we practice thinking in small ideas and speaking those ideas without fear. This is something professional speakers also do. They don't memorize every word. They prepare ideas, not full sentences. They trust their words will come when they need them. And they do. And remember, speaking is not just knowledge. It's a muscle. You can read e-bet books about swimming, but if you never get into the water, you won't learn to swim. Speaking is the same. You need small daily practice. Even e-minute a day helps, Charles. In the next chapter, I'll show you exactly how to do that. How to practice speaking without a teacher, without a textbook, and without fear. But for now, just remember this. You know, if speaking is hard for you at English, it doesn't mean you're bad at English. It means you haven't been taught the right way to speak spontaneously. That's going to change. Starting today, let's keep going. Bimbo Chapter R. Building your speaking muscles without a script, book, or teacher. So now we know. The fear of speaking English is real, and it's common. But we also know that it's not your fault. You were probably trained to memorize, to translate, to be perfect. And none of that helps in real conversations. Now let's talk about what does help. Speaking English is not just a language skill. It's also a physical skill, just like playing the guitar or riding a bicycle. You cannot learn to ride a bicycle by reading about it. You cannot become a football player by watching football every day. You have to practice. You have to fall. You have to move. You have to train your body. Speaking English is the same. You have to train your mouth, your ears, and your brain together. So how do we do that? You don't need a teacher. You don't need a classroom. And you don't even need perfect English. What you need is a simple daily habit, a habit that's easy to start and powerful. If you keep going, it's called the 1-minute talk. The 1-minute talk is exactly what it sounds like. You speak in English for 1 minute every day. About any topic. You don't prepare. You don't write anything. You just speak. Even if your grammar is wrong, even if you don't know all the words, you speak anyway. Let me show you how it works. Step 1. Choose a topic. It should be simple and personal. You can talk about your favorite food, your daily routine, your weekend plans, your family, or your job. If you can think about it, you can talk about it. You don't need deep ideas or big words. Step 2. Set a timer for 1 minute. You can use your phone. When the timer starts, you start speaking. You don't stop. Even if you get stuck, you keep going. You can say, or let me think, or repeat yourself. But you don't stop the timer. Step 3. Record yourself. This part is optional, but very helpful. When you listen to your recording, you'll notice 2 things. First, you probably sound better than you thought. And second, you'll see where you can improve. It's a great way to become more confident and aware of your speaking habits. Now, here's something important. Don't try to speak perfectly. If you forget a word, use another word. If you make a mistake, keep talking. Why? Because in real life, people don't care about your mistakes. They care about your message. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be comfortable. Let's try it together right now. I'll give you a topic, and you will pause the video and speak for 1 minute. Are you ready? The topic is my favorite food. Okay, pause the video now and talk about your favorite food. Just 1 minute. Go ahead. I'll be here when you come back. Great. Welcome back. Now, I'm going to show you an example of how a beginner-level answer might sound. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be clear. My favorite food is rice and chicken. I eat it many times in the week. I like the taste. My mother cooks it. It smells good. I feel happy when I eat rice and chicken. I sometimes eat with salad. I don't like spicy food, but this one is not spicy. I think I can eat this every day. Now, is that a perfect sentence? No. But is it good communication? Yes. It has feeling. It has structure. It sounds real. And that's exactly what we want. The 1-minute talk helps you do 3 things at the same time, right? You train your brain to think in English. You get used to speaking without pressure. You learn to keep going, even when it's hard. You don't need to talk about a new topic every day. You can repeat topics. Wait, you can't. You can talk about the same thing tomorrow. That's okay. The goal is to build your speaking muscle, not to write a new speech. Every day. After 1 week, you'll notice something. You will pause less. You will remember more words. You will feel more relaxed. That's because your brain is starting to understand that English is not just a test. It's a tool for expressing your thoughts. Let me tell you a story. One of my students, Amina, started doing the 1-minute talk challenge. In the beginning, she was nervous. She only spoke for censor seconds. Her English was slow, and she made many mistakes. But she kept going. After 1 month, she could speak for 2 minutes without stopping and without writing anything. Her confidence went up. Her grammar improved naturally. And most importantly, she stopped being afraid of making mistakes. Now, she's helping other learners do the same. So, here's your challenge. Starting today, do 1-minute talk every day for 7 days. Choose simple topics. Set your timer and speak. Just speak. Even if your English is bad, it's okay. What matters is you're using it. You're practicing. And if you feel shy, speak in your room. Speak to the mirror. Speak to your phone. But don't wait for perfect English. That day will never come. Just start speaking. Right now. With what you have. In the next chapter, I'll give you something even more powerful. I'll teach you secret structures. Dar. Not. That professional speakers use when they don't know what to say. These structures will help you answer any question, even when your mind is blank. But, for now, speak. 1 minute, every day. That's how you grow. Let's move on. Chapter 10. Secret structures that save you. when you're lost. So, you've started speaking for 1 minute a day. You're getting used to the sound of your own voice. Maybe you still make mistakes. Maybe you still feel nervous. Eh? That's okay. You're doing the most important thing. You're practicing. But what happens when someone asks you a question and you don't know how to begin? Your brain feels empty. You don't know what to say first. You get stuck on the first sentence. This is very normal. Even native speakers sometimes, but here's the secret. Most fluent speakers don't just talk. They follow a simple structure, a pattern, a path. These are speaking templates, like a. They're not full sentences you memorize. They are shapes that help your brain stay organized while you speak. Think of them like training wheels on a bicycle. You use them to stay balanced until you can ride on your own. And the good news is, these structures are very easy to learn. Let's start with the most useful one. The sen part answer. This one is my favorite because it works in almost every situation. It helps you speak clearly, even when you don't know exactly what to say. Here's how it works. State your idea R. Give an example, son. Say why it matters or how you feel about it. Let's take a question. What's your favorite hobby? Now, using the san part answer E. State your idea. My favorite hobby is drawing and R. Give an example. I usually draw in the evenings, after work. Sometimes I draw people, sometimes I draw nature. Son, say why it matters. It helps me relax and forget about stress. I feel peaceful when I draw. That's it. Simple. Clear. And you didn't need any fancy grammar. The structure keeps you moving forward. You're not stuck thinking, what do I say next? Because you already know the path, idea, example. Meaning, you can use this same pattern for so many questions. What's your favorite food? What do you do in your free time? Describe a special day in your life. Let's try another structure now. Past, present, future. This is great when talking about experiences, goals, or changes in your life. It helps you tell a short, complete story. Here's how it works. Talk about the past. What happened before? Talk about the present. What's happening now? Talk about the future. What do you want next? Let's try this question. Tell me about your English learning journey. Past. I started learning English in school, but I didn't enjoy it because it was just grammar rules. Present. Now I'm learning online. I watch videos, read books, and practice speaking alone. San. Future. I want to speak fluently so I can travel and meet new people. Again. This is easy to remember and easy to use. It makes your answer feel organized and complete, even if your vocabulary is basic. Let's look at one more structure. Problem, cause, solution. This one is perfect when you're asked about an issue, something difficult, or something you want to improve. Let's say the question is, what is one challenge in learning English? A problem. One big problem is speaking fluently. R. Cause. Because in my country, we don't speak English every day. We only read and write it in school. San. Solution. Now I practice with videos and do 1-minute talks every day. It's helping me improve. See how these structures help you feel confident, even if your English isn't perfect. That's the goal. Not perfection, but fluency, flow, and feeling okay with small mistakes. Now, here's your top moment. The one thing that really helps when your brain feels empty. Magic sentence starters. These are simple, powerful phrases that help you start speaking. They give your brain direction. When you don't know what to say, use one of these starters. Let me tell you a story. One thing I remember is, well, in my opinion, if I think about it, I would say. That's an interesting question. I'm not sure, but maybe. Let's say someone asks, "What's your dream job?" You can begin like this. That's an interesting question. If I think about it, I would say my dream job is to be a teacher. Let me tell you why. Just one sentence, and now your brain has time to relax. You've started speaking. You've passed the hardest part. You're not frozen anymore. This is the real trick to impromptu speaking. Start with something simple. Follow a structure. Keep it going. And don't stop because of one mistake. You can write these structures and sentence starters in a notebook. Practice them during your 1-minute talks. Try to use one structure every day. After some time, they will become automatic. Let me give you a little homework. Choose one question. What do you like to do on weekends? What is your favorite movie? What's something you want to learn? Then choose one structure, like part answer or past present future, and speak for 1 minute. Use a magic sentence starter if you feel nervous. Remember, you don't need perfect words. You just need a path, and now you have one. In the next chapter, we're going to make your speaking even stronger. I'll show you how to sound natural and clear. Small vocabulary. We'll talk about power phrases, everyday expressions, and why you don't need big words to be a fluent speaker. Let's keep going. You're doing great. Beamsen chapter 2. Vocabulary without memorizing. How to sound natural and clear. Let's talk about vocabulary. When most people think about improving their speaking, they say, "I need more words." So they go to the dictionary, or they write long lists of difficult vocabulary. Maybe even some fancy words like meticulous or fundamental or facilitate. But here's the truth. If you try to sound smart in English, you usually end up sounding confused, or worse, stuck. That's because fluency is not about using difficult words. Fluency is about using the right words. The words that help you speak naturally, clearly, and confidently. And most of the time, an, ompo phrases. These are very simple words and phrases. So, in this chapter, I want to help you change how you think about vocabulary. You don't need ling words. You don't even need ling words. What you need is a small group of power phrases. Useful, everyday expressions that you can use in many different situations. These are phrases that help you stay calm, give you time to think, and make you sound fluent. Even if your grammar is not perfect, let's start with something small but powerful. Power phrases that keep you speaking. Imagine someone asks you a question in English and your mind goes blank. What do you usually do? You stay silent. You panic. You think, I don't know how to answer. Now imagine you can say, that's a good question. Let me think for a second. I'm not sure, but maybe. It depends. I haven't thought about that before. These short phrases give your brain time to catch up. They're like a bridge. You're still speaking, but you don't need to say anything difficult. And here's the secret. When you keep speaking, your brain stays relaxed. And when your brain is relaxed, your words start to come more easily. You can use these phrases in so many situations. Let's try. 1. Question. What do you think about social media? Begin your answer like this. Oh, that's a good question. Let me think. I guess social media is good for connection, but sometimes it's too much. See how natural that sounds? You're not saying anything complicated, but it feels fluent. You can even practice these phrases in your 1-minute talks. For example, let me tell you a story. I remember one time when, I don't know the exact word, but say them again and again, make them automatic. These are your speaking tools, your keys to fluency, the power of collocations. Now let's talk about something called collocations. This might sound like a big word, but it's actually very simple. A collocation is just two or more words that usually go together. For example, make a decision, not do a decision. Catch a cold, not take a cold. Strong coffee, not powerful coffee. These word combinations are what native speakers use every day. When you use collocations, your English sounds more natural. You don't need to remember grammar rules. You just use the pair, and it works. Here's a quick example. Let's compare two sentences. Dimklam, I have a big interest in music. Dimklam, I have a strong interest in music. Now both are okay, but the second one, strong interest, sounds more natural. Why? Because that's the collocation native speakers use. Here's your top moment. You don't need to learn Woobat collocations, just sonor. Good phrases can make you sound times more fluent, even if your grammar isn't great. These phrases help you speak in chunks, not word by word. Let me give you a short list of useful ones to start with. Take a break. Make a mistake, do homework. We have a good time, get better. Jockey way. Feel tired, ask a question. We make money. Miss the bus, wouldn't catch a train. You already know these words, but now you're using them in pairs. That's what makes them powerful. How to practice this? So how can you use this in your speaking? Choose woo phrases from the list above. Use each one in a simple sentence. Example: I need to take a break. I made a mistake yesterday. I feel tired after work. Try to include at least one in your 1 minute talk. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just use it today. Even one phrase in your daily practice will build your fluency over time. Also write your favorite phrases in a notebook or put them on flashcards. But don't just read them. Say them out loud. Speak them again and again. You are training your speaking muscle. Remember? One of my students, Daniel, once told me, I always thought my grammar was the problem, but actually, I just didn't know how to start a sentence. He started using power phrases like, let me tell you, and collocations like make a decision. In just 1 month, his speaking became smoother, not because his vocabulary grew, but because his words were now working together. That's the big lesson of this chapter. You don't need more words. You need better combinations of words. You need phrases that help you move forward. You need shortcuts for your brain. And all of this is possible without memorizing long vocabulary lists. So, but there too, in the next chapter, I'm going to show you how to practice impromptu speaking with other people. Even if you're shy, even if you're still a beginner, and even if you don't have any fluent friends. You'll learn how to build your speaking confidence in real conversations, step by step. Let's keep going. You're speaking more than you think. Dirt chapter Woov, practice in real life, without fear or embarrassment. Now we've come to the most important part of this journey. Using your speaking skills in real life. You've learned how to stay calm when your brain freezes. You've learned how to speak for 1 minute without preparation. You've learned powerful sentence structures and how to sound natural with simple vocabulary. But maybe now you're wondering, how do I actually use this in the real world? Maybe you don't live in an English-speaking country. Maybe you feel nervous speaking to people. Or maybe you don't know anyone who speaks English. That's okay. You can still practice. You can still grow. And you can still become confident. In this chapter, I'm going to show you how to make real progress with your speaking. Even if you're alone, even if you're shy, and even if you're afraid of making mistakes. Let's start with this. You don't need a big class. You don't need native speakers. You don't need perfect grammar. What you need is 2 minutes a day. That's it. Just 2 minutes. If you use those 2 minutes the right way, your English will change. So here's a simple routine you can start today. No teacher, no pressure, no embarrassment. Step E. Speak in the mirror or minutes. Go to a mirror, or look at yourself, and talk. Choose a simple topic. You can use one of the speaking structures from Chapter 10. Chapter 10, for example, past, present, future, or sen part answer. IELTS. Speak clearly. Use your hands. Make eye contact with yourself. This may feel strange at first, but it builds confidence. You're not just practicing English. You're practicing being comfortable with your own voice. Step R. Record a voice message 10 minutes. Take your phone. Open your voice recorder. Talk about your day, or your plans, or a question like, "What did I eat today?" Or "What's something I want to learn?" Speak for 3 minutes. Don't stop to correct yourself. Just keep going. When you're done, listen to the recording. Notice one thing you did well, and one small thing to improve. That's it. Don't be a critic. Be a learner. Step 10. Talk with someone with minutes. Now, if possible, talk with another person. It could be a friend who is also learning English. It could be a small WhatsApp group, or even a language partner online. You don't need long conversations. UK. 5 minutes is enough. Ask simple questions. Answer slowly. Use the sentence starters we learned earlier. Let me think. One thing I remember is, I'm not sure, but maybe, and if you don't have someone to talk to, don't worry. Step E and R already powerful. You are still training your brain, your voice, and your fluency. Now let's talk about something very important: fear. Fear of speaking. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of sounding stupid. I've heard this from so many students. You are not alone. But I'll tell you something that helped me. And many of my learners, speaking badly is better than not speaking at all. Why? Because when you speak, even with mistakes, you learn. Your brain makes connections. You remember more. You get stronger. But when you stay silent, nothing happens. You don't get better by thinking. You get better by doing. Now imagine this situation. Someone asks you a question in English. You understand the question, but they speak very fast. You feel lost. What should you do? You can say, "Sorry, could you say that again more slowly? I understood part of it, but not all. Can you repeat that, please?" These are not weak phrases. These are smart phrases. They help you stay in the conversation. And that's what fluency really is. Not perfect answers, but staying in the conversation. And what about mistakes? Let me be honest. You will make them. We all do. Even native speakers say the wrong word sometimes, but people won't laugh at you. In fact, most people admire you for trying. So when you make a mistake, just keep going. Smile. Correct yourself if you can, but don't stop. Now let me tell you a story. One of my students, Aisha, started just like you. She was shy. She never spoke in class. She told me, "I understand English, but I can't speak it." so I gave her one small challenge, the 1-minute talk. She started doing it every evening in her room, just talking to herself. After 2 weeks, she began sending voice messages in our study group. After 1 month, she joined an online conversation group. 5 students, 1 topic. After 3 months, she gave a short presentation in English about her favorite book. And she smiled the whole time. Her grammar wasn't perfect. Her vocabulary was simple, but her message was clear. And that's what fluency really means. So, here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to speak perfectly. You don't need to be fast. You just need to be brave. Brave enough to try. Brave enough to speak. Even if your voice shakes. Because every time you speak, you get stronger. Every time you speak, you move one step closer to real fluency. Now go. Speak to your mirror. Record your voice. Join that small group. Use the sentence starters. Use the structures. Use the power phrases. Speak badly. Speak slowly. But speak. You are ready. If this video helped you, tell me in the comments. What is the hardest part about speaking English for you? Is it fear, vocabulary, confidence, or something else? I really want to hear your story. And let me know, which tip or idea from today's video will you try first? In your practice, if you learned even one useful thing, please give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more simple, clear lessons that help you speak, not just study English, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future videos. Also, if you know someone who's learning English too, share this video with them. Maybe you can practice together. You don't need to be fluent to begin. You just need to begin. Speak slowly, speak badly, but speak. That's how real progress happens. See you in the next video, and remember, the only way to speak better is to speak more. You're ready. Let's go.